they were running for office. And we heard all these rumors from Arkansas, and
what rumors?
Rumors about president affairs and about the state police that protected him being forced to help him facilitate these things.
Troopergate?
Yeah, so that kind of thing. And we also heard these stories about their behavior with each other. Volcanic, dangerous. And actually, I talked to this sheriff down there one time, and I was joking with him. I said, "There's no way this guy could ever get elected." And he looked at me like he was looking right through me, and he said, "Let me tell you something, Gary. Believe everything you hear, and they will get elected. And they'll stay there for 8 years." He said, "It is unbelievable." He said they can spin manure in the gold. That's the term.
Gary, the first chapter is called The Vase.
Yes.
What's the Vase story?
So I came to work one morning as a Secret Service Uniform Division officer, and before I went to my post, I went over to see a buddy on the ground floor of the White House, and he had said there had been a huge fight the first round. Mr. and Mrs. Clinton had a huge fight upstairs. And I know this sounds like silly, like you were eavesdropping, but you have to put yourself in that position. The White House is huge, it's old, the sound travels right down the stairwells and the elevator shafts. So anyway, he said during the fight there was a crash, and when it was investigated, they found a blue vase. Now, this has been reported before as a lamp, but that's not true. I saw the vase. Because after he told me the story, knowing how the White House worked, I walked right down to the curator's office, which was a couple doors down, opened the door and looked in, and there I saw a crushed, broken blue vase in a cardboard box.
In the archives room?
In the curator's office, yes, ma'am.
So then when you saw the president...
Yeah, so later on, the next time I saw the president over at the Oval Office when he came in, he had a mark under his eye. And it was a black eye, but you could see they were trying to conceal it with makeup. And I said to his assistant, Nancy Herrick and Betty Carey, "What's that mark under the president's eye?"
Right.
And they said, Nancy said, "Oh, he's allergic to coffee." And I said, "Under one eye?" And so as Nancy walked into her little part of the office and I started to walk out, I turned to Betty Carey and I said, I'm allergic to the back of somebody's hand.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I was just trying to spark a reaction to figure out, what was going on.
Yeah, they weren't going to spill the beans. But Gary, given the fact you described, it has been described, the relationship between Hillary and Bill Clinton, volcanic, very loud. At some point, you had conversations with other Secret Service agents about, what do we do? We're here to protect the President of the United States. What happens if his wife is the troublemaker?
Right. That was a topic of discussion. It kind of started out one day, in particular, I remember, as like we were joking about it, and then all of a sudden, the agent I was talking with is like, "Well, what do we do?" I go, "Well, you got to protect the president. I mean, if she walks in when he's doing something he shouldn't be, and you got to protect the president, you got to protect her, and whoever the poor person is there, they're kind of on their own."
So the scenario was if she walked in on the president with one of the women.
Right. It was a concern.
Right.
And then when you take what I experienced and what other people experienced about her dangerous, angry behavior and put that together, it's the recipe for domestic violence.
She hated to see you guys.
She
you
did
had
not
to
like
basically jump into a closet to stay out of her eyesight.
Well, we were supposed to. I would tell you that I never did, and it got me in a couple jams once in a while, like on the road. But yes, there was this guideline that she didn't want to see people. And
here's an example. Check out this quote from your book. She said, "Once threw a Bible at an agent on her detail, hitting him in the back of the head. Assignment to her detail was a form of punishment handed down by passive, aggressive middle management. When her detail passed, Mrs. Clinton expected everyone to just disappear. She didn't want to see anyone in the White House halls. If the whole place were the personal executive mansion, it was insulting. She hated uniforms."
Yeah. You were giving up your life, or could be potentially giving up your life to protect her.
Right. My experience with them is they don't like the military and they don't like law enforcement. And my personal feeling, based on what I saw, is she does not like men.
Sure. So what about the Lewinsky affair and what you did to short circuit it, and she overcame it, and they were unbelievably sloppy about it?
I tried to help them when I could.
This man used to work for Hillary Clinton. Sorry for interrupting. Subscribe. Good morning. They gonna end up killing this motherfucker, yo. He know too much shit.
She understood what I was saying, and I actually said that. Monica Monica got removed for about a week, and then magically she came back, not an intern now, but with a hard White House pass that allows her to go most anywhere but the private living quarters.
Tell us the thong story.
So one day, Monica manipulated herself into the Oval Office area, and she walked by my post, and President Clinton was actually in George Stephanopoulos' office, which was just past his dining room, and he was conferring with George, and he stepped out in the hallway, and he saw Monica coming down the hallway, and they had, a few words, like, hi, how are you, pleasantries, and I was standing there, and by this time, like, I been trying to usher Monica out, So anyway, as they were talking, I closed the gap a little bit, and she could see me coming, and so she started walking away. And as she walked past, she had this dress on, and she looked back and made sure the president was looking at her. Then she flipped up the dress and showed him her blue fawn. I felt like I was at. It was just bizarre. It was like a nightclub.
Like you're in Cancun or something.
Yeah,
People are asking why you're doing this, why you're telling
so
so
I'm
much.
telling my story because I want the truth to come out. I have to look my kids in the face like everybody else. And when you experience the things that I did 3 years ago, I had to sit down on the couch like we are with my kids, and I had them search on Google my name, Bill Clinton's name, and Monica Lewinsky's name. I wanted to tell them what had happened because they were going to study about it in school. And let's face it, some of the things that are now our history are R-rated.
And you're in it.
Yeah, and I wanted my kids to know it from their father, what had happened. And I want people to know that this image, I realize all politics has a little bit of, over the top, about their candidates, but this image of Mrs. Clinton that she's a leader is completely wrong.
And
I'm sorry.
Mrs. Clinton's machine is trying to unbook you. CNN's
Yes.
already unbooked you.
Yes.
None of the networks will touch you.
Yes.
You just mentioned George Stephanopoulos. You think they're going to tell
Right.
that story in GMA?
No, and the funny thing is when people come out, like this retired Secret Service Association comes out and says, I never had access. All you have to do is go ask George Stephanopoulos. I stood right outside his door for years.
Yeah.
I was friends with his assistants. Everybody knows who I am.
Right.
We're
Gary
just afraid of the
Byrne.
truth.
We all know who you are, definitely. Gary
you.
Byrne wrote the book. It's called Crisis of Character, if you want to pick it up.
And I'll
Thank you
talk to
so
you on
much.
radio in a little while.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Meanwhile, Heather Nauert's got some more breaking news.
Yeah, this involves the Orlando attack and some new information coming in this morning. Could the Orlando attack have had fewer victims? There is a new report out today that claims that some of the victims inside the Pulse nightclub may have been blocked from escaping that club because allegedly there was a soda machine blocking that exit. The fire department, though, says that's not true. They say an inspector simply found a broken light bulb on the door and then wrote down the wrong code, and that the machine did not block the exit, but we'll look into that story further. Well, come to your screen right now because this video is simply incredible, and no, it is not a scene from Grand Theft Auto. This is the moment a police officer leaps out of a helicopter and tackles a burglary suspect in Houston. Wow. It started as a wild chase, a police car clipping one of the suspects who had run off into a field. And
Get
one of
his
the officers
motherfucking ass.
in the chopper jumps out, wrestles to the ground,
Get him,
pulls
son.
until
What?
other officers can cuff him. A gas
Holy
station owner said
shit.
tired of being pushed around, so he's doing something about it. After getting robbed twice, there's now a sign that's catching quite a few eyes. The Shell owner offering gas for 10 cents to police officers or anyone with a concealed carry permit after 7 p.m. His master plan of adding more customers so his employees wouldn't be alone, well, that worked. Business is booming. And those are your headlines. I'll see you soon.
That is a
Thanks,
great
guys.
idea.
Pretty good idea, huh?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Heather, thank you. The attack in Istanbul, Turkey shows terrorists are evolving to beat airport security. Are you flying today? What you can expect in a live report coming up next.
And Elizabeth Warren claimed that she was not going to get nasty on the campaign trail. And
She
then
did.
she said this.
Oops.
You want to see Goofy? Look at him in that hat. How's that kind of talk playing out with the voters? The brand new dials are off the charts.
Pulse of the people.
Attacks yesterday. Airports now around the country, this country, now stepping up security.
Good. Teresa Priolo from Fox 5 here in New York City is live at JFK Airport. Teresa, how's the security?
Hey, good morning, guys. Security here stepped up, heightened in the wake of this attack. We have seen officers walking around in some tactical gear. We've seen an increase in a police presence of not only Port Authority Police, which runs our local airports, but also NYPD. In the other terminal, Terminal 1, that services Turkish Airlines, a much more police officers and a heightened security presence there. Of course, all in the wake of what occurred in Istanbul, Turkey. It's hard to, think about what happened there and if that's on the minds of flyers here, especially because they find themselves in the same place. They're just trying to get out of town, like all those people that were wounded and killed in Istanbul. We can tell you that at least as far as this airport is concerned, there are usually 3 flights a day going to Turkey, 3 flights coming home. They are scheduled to go off, although some of them are delayed. That is the latest from outside of JFK Airport this morning. Send things back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Teresa Priello, live at JFK. That's extraordinary about that tank thing out there. It just goes to show you how serious they are about the security. There it is right there. Well, not a tank, it's an armored personnel.
Well, because a lot of these are happening now before you get to security, right there outside.
Absolutely.
Very scary.
All right. Meanwhile, straight ahead, Hillary Clinton has a trust problem, and Speaker Newt Gingrich has a warning.
And if the American people are comfortable with a person that dishonest in the White House, she's a pretty formidable candidate.
Are the voters catching on to that message? The brand new dials are next to the lead.
Formidable as a dishonest candidate. But first, on this day in history, 1976, Wings, that group that he was in before the Beatles, Silly Love Songs, was the #1 song in the charts. Paul McCartney plays guitar and sang this. Lefty.